been taking undergraduates to China for 8 years now. This is the 8th year. And the brother of one of our attendees here was there in the 4th year, and the brother of another one was here there in the 5th year, and is now a TA in the program. And so, in that time, everybody has a research project to do when they go to China as part of this program. And some people don't end up doing it. Some of them aren't to the least bit anthro-related, and so I'm leaving those out. But the ones that are anthro-related, I think there have been about 20 good ones. And so I have a list here. And I also, here's what I'd read. Whoa, that's not what I expected. Oh, there we go. Okay, very good. Okay. All right. I have a list, but I also have I'm going to feature some of the projects on that list. And I'm just going to go through, I'm going to give you a brief list and talk a little bit about how we've worked this program. And then I'm going to give you about 8 examples of about 8 undergraduate anthro-related projects. I say anthro-related. They weren't all done for anthropology credit. Some of the people were China studies majors or international studies majors or something else, and they got credit there. Other people were far away in forest resources or engineering majors. But all of these projects, which are about half the projects that have been done, are ethnographic at some level or another. And so the kind of thing that would be interesting, I think, to an anthro major who was thinking about doing real research, not just in China, but any old where. So it's a kind of examples of things that people can do and that came out well. And I was going to go through them. So, obviously I would like all sorts of questions as you go along, not just to sit here and talk for an hour and a half without having any feedback here. The program is called UW Worldwide Discipline Exchange. It's people go for a year, or if they really can't fit in a whole year, they sometimes go for fall and winter quarter and come back to UW for spring quarter. I found recently that more and more students, I was talking with Elizabeth about this a little bit earlier, that people have gotten more and more focused on getting their major credits on time. And there's less and less room for sort of experimentation in education anymore. So that there are all sorts of people who would love to go but just can't figure out how they could take a year and still get in, check off all the boxes on their VOPA and their major and whatever else they have to do. And 8 years ago when we started, there were a lot of people who were willing to kind of, fly with it, go with the flow, and maybe even take some extra time, and that's gotten less and less. I think as UW has become more expensive, UW has become more picky about how long you can stay, and people are more nervous about jobs because there aren't any around. Of course, if I were more nervous about jobs, what I would do is postpone the time when I actually had to look for one, but until maybe the job market got better, but that doesn't seem to be. Okay, anyway, we have people from all kinds of majors, but social science, engineering, and biological science have been the most prevalent ones. We also had a few Chinese language majors, I should say that too. But we haven't had any French majors, or we haven't had any people we did have actually an art major. Yeah, she did her project painting. She did a bunch of paintings for her project. But so that's been the general thing. We haven't had. We've also had some really smart students who are biochem or neurobiology or public health or things like that, who just wanted to spend a year abroad. But a research project is a requirement. People live on their own. There's no fee except for the fee that the IPE office charges, $250 a quarter, for anybody who's overseas under UW auspices. But there's no extra fee. In other words, you just you have to pay your way there, which will cost you about $1,500 to get there and back, and you make that up by the savings on living costs from what it costs you to live here, unless of course you live at home, which of course, then I don't know how much your parents are spending on you, but if they already own their house, they're not spending that much on having you in it. But other than that, if you live in a dorm or going to live in a Greek house or you're going to live in an apartment here in Seattle, it'll cost you more than the difference between what you pay and what you pay to live in Chengdu would make up for the $1,500 for a plane ticket. So that's the and we've been able to do this without charging any fee, mainly by exploiting my labor, which I do for free. And so, if I were, like if a faculty member teaches an exploration seminar, they get a month's salary. If I took a month's salary every year out of this, we wouldn't have money to run the program. Okay, so this is a long list of people, and you'll see, you won't see Caitlin's brother on here because his project wasn't really Anto related. But you will see Greg's brother on here, Ben, and we're going to try to show the DVD in a little while. But you see, the ones that are in color are the ones that I'm going to actually go through. But just take a minute to look at some of the things that people have done. And these have all been done in Sichuan, in 3 different field sites in Sichuan. And I haven't included all the projects that were done by the Sichuanese students, but in fact, Sichuanese students who come here for a year participate in these joint projects either before they come here or after they've gone back for their senior year. In Sichuan, the Chinese government is very dictatorial, and you go into a college and you have a major, and you do that major for 4 years and you graduate, and all your courses are required. You don't have any electives, you don't have any distribution requirements, you just take what that major tells you to take. There are a few things outside that topic. If you're a chemistry major, you might have to take physics or something, but you would take physics with other chemistry majors, and you take all your classes with the same people. You never, it's just like being not even being in high school. I don't know, but anyway, you have all your classes with the same people, and different teachers come in, and it's all prescribed. So it's very easy for them to say, okay, you guys are going to UW for your junior year, and they do. And their junior year is their 3rd year, and there's no such thing as sort of being a junior in credits, but having been here for 4 years or anything like that. Chinese university education is like, even when I went to college, most people took 4 years, and they were like 18 when they started, and it's really, really different from now. And it's really different from them. But anyway, they come here for their junior year, and they participate in a lot of these projects. I only put one separate project there from a Chinese student, Chen Shi, at the top of the right-hand column, because she did a really interesting museum project. And I know that some of you might be interested in museums, being in anthropology, so I thought I would throw in the museum project with everything else. Okay, so let's just look at some of it. Our first field site, that's a picture of Sichuan, and the capital city is Chengdu, which is right here, and that's where the university is, and that's where people live. And then we have a field site here, which is called Yangzhang Penshui, which, as you can see from this relief map, is way the heck up in the mountains. And you take a train from Chengdu to Xichang, which is here, and it's an overnight train. It takes about 10 hours. Get on the train at 8 p.m. and get in at 6 a.m., something like that. And then you take a bus that winds up this really steep mountains and then back down again, and then back up again, and then back down again, and then level over a dirt road for a while. It takes all day. So you leave Chengdu maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, and you get to the field site around 4 or 5 the next afternoon. And it's a fun ride. Unless you get car sick. We had one poor kid, Alex Kylo, I'm going to show his project, but he got bus sick on the first time, and we were stopping in a local town to buy some watermelons, and he puked right in the middle of the street. And it's the windiest road you've ever been on. If you've never been, there isn't that windy a road in the United States. They don't build them that way here. And our mountains aren't as steep either. Our mountains are more gradual. Their mountains are really steep relief, Yeah. Deep valleys and high cliffs, and the road's just unbelievable. So anyway, that's where it is. And we have a primary school there that we helped raise the money for.